Hey, good morning. Holy moly, look at all the comments. I love it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, giving me your morning. Hopefully, I can bring you some information. So, David, John, Jason, Valerie, Francois, Sledge, Craig, Lucero? Did I say that right? I'm sorry if I butchered my East Tennessee accent. I'm so sorry. Val DeSavo, PD, Mad, Michael, and Michael. Michael and Michael. Morning, morning, everybody. How's it going? Let's get on it, shall we? Brand new ETF hitting the market today. Anybody got an idea what it is? It's the first of its kind. Brand new. And morning, Maurizio, Dan, Aaron, Al. Anybody got a guess in the chat? If you want to chat with me, make sure you're a subscriber. That's the only requirement. You just got to hit the subscribe button. A few seconds later, while I'm live, you can chat on the live stream. If we're not live anymore, then you got to leave a comment, and I'll get back to you. So, yeah, BitX. But what is it? What is BitX? You know what BitX is? What does it do? Why is it special? BITX. That's not BlackRock's. Not BlackRock's, not yet. BitX is special. BlackRock's is special in its own, but it's not BlackRock's. BitX is a leveraged ETF on Bitcoin futures. Leveraged ETF on futures. So, this is what BitX is, and it's crazy that we have a leveraged product before we have a spot Bitcoin ETF. BlackRock's is going to be a spot ETF. BitX is a leveraged futures ETF. Let me pop this up and we can talk about it right there. SEC approves the first Bitcoin futures ETF. Volatility shares 2x Bitcoin strategy ETF BitX scheduled to launch on the CBOE today, June 27th, right here. So that's kind of crazy, if you ask me, right there, that we have a leveraged futures ETF before we have a spot Bitcoin ETF. So BlackRock's is important because it is a spot ETF that's based on actually actually trading real Bitcoin and holding it. That's why Coinbase is going to be the fiduciary for BlackRock, and that's why it's important. So you'll be able to potentially add Bitcoin exposure to your IRAs and stuff through BlackRock. If BlackRock's who your company uses as a 401k management, they manage something like I don't know, somewhere between $9 and $20 trillion of assets worldwide. I was posting about this yesterday to my VIP Diamond subscribers in Discord yesterday. Anyway, so this is big news. This is interesting and can create some excitement in Bitcoin today. We'll see how this works out. Of course, we have no history, so if I pull a chart on this, it won't. Yeah, in the cart, it's kind of like the cart before the horse, but we'll see. I don't know how it's going to work out. We'll find out. There won't be the options will not be very liquid for usually a month or so on a new listing. So we'll see how this plays out. But this could right here give a way to, leverage the leverage, if you will, the power of options on some of these strategies that I utilize to trade crypto. So anyway, it's new, it's different, and it's kind of unprecedented that we would have a leveraged ETF, 2 times leverage on the Bitcoin daily futures. So right there, it's, this is one of the, I always say, read the prospectus to know about the management right there. But the goal of the management is to seek investment results that correspond to 2 times the return of the CME Bitcoin futures daily roll index. So you got to keep up with, this isn't 2 times actual Bitcoin futures performance. It's the 2 times the Bitcoin daily roll index. So if that's a mouthful of bubblegum for you, you got to go be informed. All right, you got to know what you're trading. This is like I talk about all the time. I was talking about on SVXY yesterday. You got to be informed on what you're trading. Now I got to flip the screen back to this for a second because I did something goofy and I got to fix the screen before I share it back really quickly. 1 second, I'll be right back with the chart. All right, there we go. So, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation here intended to be informational, educational, and fun. Hope you have fun doing this. And it's not a recommendation to buy or sell anything, financial instrument or otherwise. Don't even pay me for anything. I'll give you free information here. You can just come watch that, and there, later if you want to throw a few bucks at me, that's great. If you don't, that's great too. You can just keep watching free stuff. Come chat with me on the live stream, and I'll do the best I can to help you get ahead. That's my goal here. And if you desire personal financial advice, you need to hire and consult a financial advisor that has a fiduciary duty to give you advice based on your situation. That's not me. Just throwing that out there. So we are on the last week of June. And look at it, July 1st coming up Saturday. That's crazy. Halfway done with the year. And today, Tuesday, we have consumer confidence coming up here. And new home sales, Richmond manufacturing. This is coming up at 10 o'clock. So in about 40 or 39 minutes, this can be a market mover piece of news hitting. We were moving a little bit on core durable goods. Not a lot, just a little bit, dancing around there. And I brought a chart, of course, right here. Look where we did. Well, look at what we've done. I want to put a couple cautionary statements out here. So we bought them back here in October, and doing this was high probability. Doing this was high probability. Coming up, retesting, poking above the August high. This kind of slants my expectation to going higher at this point. We made a higher high, but we need a retrace. There has not been a retrace. This is a 3-day chart. This whole move up right here from the March low. We look down here, March low up to this high we just made. Barely a pullback. When I say barely a pullback, look, we got these two massive pullbacks back to back, and then we did this rip. We came up, we hit the 1272 extension. Now, there is an alternate case where we could be in an A, we could have a B retrace right here, and we could be looking at a C corrective move right up here. That would be A equals C at 45.83, right around there on the SPX. Now, if we come up, if this is just a little baby pullback and we come up and hit that and stop there and turn down, that's a scary thing for me. All right. Everybody's kind of wondering what the level is. Who's Goose? That's Lieutenant Colonel Goose. He's I don't see him on here this morning so far. Yeah, I don't see him on here so far this morning. So anyway, he's in Discord. If you shout him out, it's not the G4 Goose. It's the other Goose. There are two Gooses. All right. So back to what I was saying. If this is just a little baby pullback similar to these over here, and we continue to grind up and we stop at this 45.83, that's a big red caution in my mind that we can see the market turn over and roll lower low, and this could last well into next year, well into 2024 on a correction. Now, if we get a nice pullback here, hold above this level that we saw back here, and for the love of me, I can't remember the high right there at the moment. Roughly around 41.50. We hold above that one on a pullback, that would be bullish, but we could also go down a little bit deeper, hit the 3-day roadmap line or even the daily roadmap line, hold that, and it'd be another nested 1-2 inside here. That would be okay too, and that could set the levels way on up here. But right now, expecting a pullback and a move on, a pullback that holds above, say, 42.50 would be great to hold above, and then we extend up to this 45.44. Now see that this is where it gets fishy here. We could both these patterns, this one being a bullish pattern, this one being a bearish pattern, and both of them topping out in this 45 mid 4,500 area. This is where my uncertainty on the path forward comes. We could do the bullish path or we could do a bearish path. So I don't know which one it is yet. All right, this could be a three-wave A, a very fast B, maybe a W and an X, and this would be a Y. Depends, gets into the nerdy, nitty-gritty details of Elliott wave. But either way, we've got a corrective setup here, and this is why I'm super cautious lately. One can lead to a much deeper move, and one can lead to a shallower correction. So I would like to see a pullback now, and we kind of clear up that this is more the path we're on. But if we just grind on up, this may be the path we're on. But it still could be this one. It's tipping the probabilities back and forth. This is why I've been a little bit uncertain on the path. All right, we're kind of in this gray zone. Like, does it break down or does it break out? And we go all-time higher high, which can be 6,000 plus on S&P 500 into 2025 before we roll over. This one can see us lower than what we saw back here in October into, well into 2024. And it may even last longer than that. It could be a several year correction. So highly cautious right now on which path we're on. I was kind of on the bullish path, but this move has me questioning my life choices as far as what path I think we're on right now. All right. Be careful. Protect your account, the account you save, maybe your own. So, all right. Good morning. Lots more people saying morning. Morning, Beth, Kevin, Tara, David. Beth, hopefully that cleared it up a little bit for you. Why my uncertainty, and kind of discuss the two paths there for you. You were asking me about that the last couple of days. That's kind of where we're at. Like, that's the zone. Until we clear this up, that's what we're dealing with right now. All right? Moving on. ES, holding so far this morning. Holding. Hold, as Bravehearts, we're kind of inside candle so far. We are below that support line. The primary expectation I would have come back down to where we gapped up, which that was on the contract rollover. So we may come fill this gap just to flush out that little extra juice that we had on the rollover. And that was the futures contract rollover. You might be like, I don't understand what you're saying right now. That's okay. It just gives us a higher probability, come down, eliminate that gap up, juicy extra premium there before we make the next move in the S&P. Now, this is S&P 500 futures. Why the futures? Because when we look at the overnight data, they trade all night, and they give us some information here. Whereas if we looked at the S&P 500 here, it stopped at 4 p.m. So I watch these futures to kind of give me a little bit of maybe some extra information on where we might be headed. So far, holding under the 15-minute roadmap line, and we have been holding under it for several days now. That sets my bias down. Let's be honest here. There you go, the bias ahead of time. I'm still biased down. And looking at the daily chart, zoom it back, dropping back and testing this area is kind of what I expect to happen over the coming days. NASDAQ is getting close to filling its gap. It gapped from here up to here. It was about a 200-point gap. We're getting close. So same kind of path, both S&P 500 and NASDAQ. And this is NQ. It's like QQQ if you want to trade an ETF. ES is like SPY if you want to trade an ETF. So what do I expect to happen? Well, is that today, tomorrow? No, probably over the coming 2 weeks, maybe into July. I mean, we just have a couple days left in June, right? So heading into July, we could see a pullback back down into this 14.5 area. We could get a little pop. I mean, we could get a couple day pop and then roll over again, kind of like a retrace on this move down. So we haven't really had a retrace on the move down. We kind of chopped a little bit, but not really a retrace. We could retrace 50% of the move down and then get continuation down to kind of fill these gaps in here. So these are kind of narrowing in. We started on the big picture 3-day chart. Now we're kind of narrowing in what I expect to happen in the next couple of weeks. And I've already discussed kind of what I expect to happen today. So Russell finding support at the daily roadmap line. This is interesting. This is a divergence off of what the S&P and the NASDAQ are doing here. Finding support, this one can take off. This was lagging or maybe leading down. So this is one to keep an eye on. If we start breaking out back into this orange zone, while ES and NQ, while the S&P and NASDAQ are not participating, that's a sign that we may be going bullish on ES. So this is kind of my canary to tell me, are we going to break down and go lower in the market, or are things fundamentally, like when I say fundamentally, not fundamentals, but are small caps building the fundamental blocks for a new bullish run? If we start breaking above this high we made back here a couple weeks ago on June 14th on the Russell, if you're like, JT, I don't understand Russell, RTY, what the heck are you even looking at? IWM, this is small caps, Russell 2000, E-mini 2000 index here. If we can break above that high right here, it's an indication that the whole market is gonna go with it. Small caps tend to lead. We did a 2-year consolidation on Russell before ES and NQ rolled over hard last year. This is kind of like the canary in the coal mine for me. Like this ticker right here tends to lead the market. So we've just been kind of correcting so far, but if we can break out and go, then we'll go. Market's open now. Cool. All right. CL oil churning a little bit at the lows. This looks like it's going to push down and make a lower low than we saw back here in early May. Just what it looks like. And I'll talk more about that this evening during 30 Minutes of Awesome. Come watch me at 5 p.m. Eastern. Gold still holding the daily roadmap line. This is positive. If we start breaking out above these levels, we're on the run. The next move up here to 2,000 could take out in August, September, maybe even October. Could take a little while. We'll see. If it just took as long as this last move, we'd be up there by late August. So we'll see what happens on gold. Bitcoin getting a little rally on the excitement this morning. The excitement of a new ETF. The target is still right up here at 32.8 in the near term. If we made the move that we made back here in March, we could be all the way up here sometime today or tomorrow. Could come all the way up to 37. Doesn't look like where we're going to head right now. We're kind of not having the enthusiasm to get that high, but I wouldn't count it out until for sure it doesn't happen. So I'll put that back in log, and it looks a little better proportionally. That would be the same move we had there, and then the ultimate move we had up to this high from March lows would put us up to this $4,000 or $40,000 area right here, 39.40. So what are we going to do? I don't know. Time's going to tell, but right now my expectation is a little lower, only getting up to 32.8 right there, which is not far above us. Ethereum kind of on a different path, still holding under in this consolidation, not able to break out. This one's hasn't made a higher high. It's not participating quite the same level. Be careful if you're chasing Ethereum. The dollar retracing back down. Looks like down's going to be the path. That's holding below the roadmap line, and we need a lower low. Haven't made a lower low for a little while. Meta making stock twits this morning. First 10 or 12 of these are off of stock twits. Meta making some news, but not going so far. Still expect it to fill that gap from February 2022. That gap down. Still expecting it to chug back up there, and then we'll find out if it can break out or if it's going to retrace again. WBA, ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Healthcare getting slammed all over the place. WBA making a lower low than we've seen forever, just about. So, can that be the bottom? Well, it could be, or it can go down another 28 bucks and go out of business. You might be like, oh, Walgreens isn't going out of business. Well, I wouldn't count it out. Snow, everything can go out of business. Everything can shock you. Lehman Brothers wasn't supposed to go out of business, but they went out of business quickly. Snow just kind of having trouble breaking above this consolidation resistance. Supply right there, I would give higher probability to retracing over breaking out until we can get above those highs. AVXL seems to be retracing, and it's a biotech, so you got to be careful on biotechs. They don't always follow my pattern. Stellar Lumens making the list, popping this morning. That's a sideways consolidation, though. It is not making higher highs yet. The high to beat is up here at 11 cents. While it can turn and burn, this is not overly bullish yet. This is still a cautionary chart. Bitcoin Cash, look at this rally. Holy moly. Rocking and rolling. It's got a long way to go to recovery. So next resistance. Funny enough, I bought $100 of this to move money to an exchange and never did it, and just kind of sitting on it. Resistance isn't until all the way up here where we kind of consolidated right there. Could have another little bit right there, right below it, 300, 400. This one, nice opportunity to catch back up, and I wasn't even doing this as a trade, but at this point I'm going to hold probably for this mid 300 area at least. Just kind of see how it's going. There's not a pullback. There's not really an indication on how high this can go. Definitely hitting extensions for this move, but I mean, it's unclear. This is not a clear pattern. This is just kind of like overexcitement, and yeah. So BCTX, get all the letters out. Another biotech, and biotechs are dangerous. Please be careful on those. BitX, there you go. 2x strategy. If Bitcoin rallies, this thing can take a run today. We have one candle. One candle does not give me any kind of information on the daily. This is brand new today. We have 2 candles on the 5-minute. That means we have about 6 candles on the 1-minute. Just kind of chopping around here. Excitement will ensue. It'll be a few days before, obviously it's going to be a little while before we can get even a roadmap line on this sucker. But watching Bitcoin is how you watch leveraged ETFs. I mean, leveraged ETFs, you got to be careful. They have leverage. So, all right. SCHN, flip back to a daily, and that's a volatile chart. Careful, can retrace. This was off the lows here. Higher low from back here, but that's still not breaking above the roadmap line, and looks like we'll probably see a lower low and maybe an extension down to 23. ALDX, just choppy, and another biotech. Lots of biotechs on the list this morning. SNX, ouch, that can go lower. Popped up. That was a 3-wave move up. Hold the roadmap line. Probably going lower. The target should be something like 70. If it breaks below the low from back here. Somewhere around 70. Lily just keeps grinding higher. This one's going to get a big retrace at some point. I've talked about that for a few days now. AEL. Wow. That's a crazy pop. Investment Life. No idea what they do. Right up to the 1272. A retrace back to at least the breakout level would be the most likely scenario before a push out to the 1618. But it can just get super excited and go out to the 59. I wouldn't expect a lot higher than that, but you know, it can climb the fib ladder. It can keep going. And this thing, look at the history. Gets super excited, then drifts back off. Then gets kind of bummed out, then starts getting excited again, gets super excited, then drifts back off. So another one of those super excited periods, and then probably drift back off. MicroStrategy, whatever reason, MNST and MSTR blend in my head. This is moving with Bitcoin. A little bit of trouble breaking out of this double orange zone here. The extension up 366, possibly 394, if it can get out of this resistance zone. CIR, I don't know. That's not even a tradable pattern for me. Not any kind of anything I watch. Looks like a buyout probably. Some kind of buyout, something. I'm sure somebody in the chat knows about it. And then Baidu, just chopping around here. China got some bad economic news happening here, so we may see a bigger dip on this one. Right now, this is kind of holding in here. If we can complete the head and shoulders pattern, we could get a bigger up in Baidu, but right now, stuck below this resistance and above this support. And that makes it less interesting for me to trade or try to do anything with right now until we can get the breakout. So it has this large head and shoulders type pattern. We did a shoulder, head, shoulder. If we complete that and we start moving up through 180, that's a potential for it to rally strongly up to about this 360 area. That's like a double on the shares. That could be huge on something like a synthetic held long term. We'll see. It's developing right now. Not telling me much. So there's your bias for the day. Was kind of expecting this to continue down, but we may kind of bounce around on the way. So not entirely sure what the day is going to unfold. We are kind of below that support. Got an inside candle. May just be an inside kind of day. Consumer confidence coming out in about 20 minutes, 18 minutes. So be careful. That may set the tone for the day. See a request for CF. Not really moving today. I mean, down 2%. It looks like it's on a path to go lower. I mean, that's below the daily roadmap line. I'll take requests this evening, and we'll go more into stuff like that. And Mara, not really moving so far today. Just consolidating right there before the target. So there you go. 5 p.m. today, 5 p.m. Eastern. I'll take requests for like 30 minutes. Hey, Levi, glad to see you, my man. Hey, glad to see you. Thanks for stopping by, man. And that's kind of the expectation for the day. So hope everybody has a great day. I'm going to Discord. You can come join me. Links in the description. Levi, if you want in there, just hit me a private message. I'll give you a link to get in the server. So, all right. Have a great day, everybody.